My problem is that every other fan is so bloody righteous. When did they become so perfect, right? We have other fans sucked into a media frenzy all the time. Yeah, all the time. And they're not looking in the right direction. 6 clubs tried to leave the league 4 years ago. Swept under the carpet. I'll remind them every day. This is a problem. Yes, we make mistakes. Yes, it's obvious. Yes, we bought loads of players a few years ago. Yes, we keep being in the media. Yes, we hired Clattenburg. Yes, we're annoyed at the PSR stuff. But, like, they love having a go at us. It's deflection from all their own stuff. This is a bad thing. I don't think that this is good if you're spitting. But, Jesus Christ, it's just constant. And it never goes away. I just want to watch the Leicester game and talk about Steve Cooper and Nottingham Forest and Chrissy Wood. We've got Adam Marchenko, who's back in the Forest Fantasy Fives. He's out in Ghana, and he's with Ebenezer, his Ghanaian brother, wearing a Forest jersey next to him. Absolutely unbelievable. And he's also with Steve, a friend of his. It's brilliant. Two legends over in Ghana. Adam Marchenko in Ghana, brilliant. Give him a shout out, Matt. Come on.
Yeah, Adam, absolute legend, competing with us on Forest Fantasy Fives, does very well. He's probably been at the top, been at the bottom of the league.
Talk about the Forest all over the world stuff, not just your Forest Fantasy 5 game. Just talk about that. That's what he wants to hear.
What do you want me to say about the Forest all over the world stuff? What do you want me to say about the Forest?
Adam's in Ghana, sending pictures of him in Ghana with the Forest jersey on. That's what we're like. That's cool. Next,
yeah, we know it's cool.
Yeah. Fine. Next, we've got NFFC South Florida, a new Forest all over the world fan group just set up down in South Florida. And funnily enough, someone actually reached out to Forest Focus Pod, who then reached out to us and Nottingham Forest North America, asking if there was anywhere to watch the Leicester game this Friday in Miami. And this NFFC South Florida new fan group is the one we tagged them in. So big shout out to them.
Wow, there's an NFFC South Florida specifically.
Correct.
So we've got Nottingham, with a Nottingham fan base, and then the wider fans around the UK, and then fans from all over the world. But one of the English-based spin-offs was the NFFC Bath and the Southwest group, Jan, that you had on for the preview. And now you're talking about not only in the US or in North America, and not only the Florida, you've got someone in South Florida. Like, are they
South
different
Florida's
to
quite
say?
big. I mean, if you know, it's quite big. But yes.
Yeah, I know Florida's big, but it's still funny that in the state of Florida, they're specifically like it's as if there's different Forest fan groups in different parts of Florida. That's just quite a funny idea to me. It's great. It's brilliant. Does that not? Do you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, no, I do. I think it's cool. I mean, we've had so many of these fan groups that I've read out, and you've never looked as interested as you do now. So I'm cool with it. I mean, you always seem like you're not.
I'm not interested. I'm letting you speak, and we've got this intro going. It's great that people write in. I mean, what do you want to say? But what's funny is it's making me giggle that it's specifically South Florida. Like, do they have a five-a-side league or something where maybe the North Florida Forest fans versus the South Florida Forest fans? I don't know.
Maybe one day.
Key West versus Tampa Forest.
You mentioned Jan just a second ago in the
Forest
Southwest.
Disney World. Or Disneyland.
Yeah, you mentioned Jan in the southwest of England there just a minute ago. He said bloody loved that last night. He was talking about the Palace game. He was on the preview. He said he watched it.
He wasn't talking about being on the podcast with you.
No, he wasn't. He was talking about the football match. Stop!
I know.
Oh, yeah. Watched it in Salcombe in Devon. Very quiet sports bar. There were just 3 families there, 2 Forest and 1 Palace. All good fun and chat amongst us. And we have to give a shout out to some of the UK-based fans in Manchester or Devon or even London. There was a fan who unfortunately loves you for some reason and reached out to ask you to watch it with him in London Trickies.
Oh,
yeah. He actually didn't say he loved you. But anyway, his name is Marcus. So big shout out to Marcus as well. He listens to the podcast.
I was say that's strong. Go on. That was a big misquote of someone's both words and feelings.
I'm saying I presume.
I couldn't go, but I was with a Crystal Palace fan who my partner is, and I had to go to a neutral venue. She'll often come with me to the Marylebone place if we're in London, or I'll go and watch Palace games with her in different places. And when it's Forest Palace, we'll watch it on our own normally for a draw. But on this occasion, we met another one of our listeners who has your back, Chris, Mr. Robbie. who you all appreciate the fact that he pulled me. We met him to watch the Palace game at a neutral venue. She didn't want to be surrounded by Forest fans. Too many. There were still some of us there. And Robbie he's the guy that he's the listener that, well, we know who he is, but to those that maybe don't, he's the listener that when I tried to pull Chris up on a fact using some legal jargon several months ago, he actually corrected me, and I had to put my tail between my legs and accept that Chris was actually right about something. Fair enough. And he had your back
Clip
again
that
to
up.
this time. He thinks that I have give you a hard time when I criticise your hosting.
You give me a
skills.
really hard time. You do. You're difficult.
God.
You're difficult to deal with. You give me a hard time.
Anyone who
Absolutely
knows
true.
you and knows what I'm dealing with knows that it's only when we're on air that you play this victim card.
There's
sit
no
on
victim.
The fence.
There's no
You're
victim.
Mr.
There's hard
Diplomatic.
time, and there's you giving
You
it to me.
censor
But look,
yourself.
let's just. Can you censor yourself
That's
for a
true.
second?
That is true.
Can you
ladies
censor?
and
We're
gentlemen.
still in the intro. Are you going to edit this down? Are you going to edit this down?
No.
AJ, we have AJ who said, "Hey, Chris and Matt, went to Las Vegas for work and ran into two guys from Nottingham for the game. Great win, fellas." And he has U-Reds and he's a picture of himself with two lads watching the game in Vegas. That's pretty cool. Give a shout out to AJ.
AJ.
Is that it? You're just going to say AJ? You're not going to say anything else?
I'm going to say
After
AJ
talking for half an hour?
USA. AJ USA. Don't gamble too much, but welcome to our podcast.
Okay. Well, I don't know if he gambled at all. He said he was going to Vegas for work.
If you
but
just
okay,
skimmed
you didn't
through
listen
them, it would
for-
be a
for-
way easier
Okay.
listen for me and everyone
Martin
listening.
Carr.
It's great to hear all these stories, but you don't need me to comment on them all.
Why don't
Do
you just
you?
shut up? Martin Carr, bloke in California. He was watching some of the stream while he was in traffic, not while he was driving. He was just in traffic watching the stream of the game before he got home. So big shout out to Martin Carr in California, who was sat in traffic.
Why have I lost you?
Yeah, watching the game. And then Bruce, big one. Bruce from Texas.
I think I've just
Final one,
lost.
travelled
Oh.
all the way over to watch that game on Monday. It was his first ever Nottingham Forest game. He was there with his wife in the Trent.
Yes, I saw that post.
Amazing. Give him some
Yeah,
love.
no, he took a picture from the Brian Clough stand, the one that you shared.
Yes, it's okay to let you know that I shared it in the group, the WhatsApp group, me, you, and Will. He won't mind that. So yeah, it was.
Hey, I thought you shared it with me.
No, I shared it in the or maybe it was just with you. Anyway, I didn't share it with loads of people, Bruce. Don't worry, I'm not going around sharing all the pictures you send me privately.
No. I
I'm
thought you just sent it me and you went, look, Bruce from Texas at the game for the first time. How cool is that?
I did, but I can't remember. if
You
it
make
was in the
yourself
mini
sound more
WhatsApp group we
guilty
have
than you are.
with Will
You're allowed to
or-
tell your mates.
Well, now this is like a court of law. Just give Bruce a shout out. Bruce,
I have
don't
done. I
worry,
think
I'm
that's
not
class,
sharing
and
all
I was
the
really
photos.
pleased for him. I was really pleased that someone had come so far. Got to see such a probably a cracking atmosphere, and in the end, a great result.
And look, I haven't even spoke about what's coming up in this podcast because we have a Leicester fan coming on who used to work with me years ago and likes to rile me up quite a bit. We have Matt and I we're definitely going to talk about Palace first now for a little bit, and then a little bit later, maybe at the end, we might talk about the Spitgate incident, or maybe we won't talk about that at all. I don't know, Matt. I imagine you'll want to talk about it, but yeah, let's start by having a conversation really quickly about the Palace game and how good it was and what you noticed and what you enjoyed about it. Obviously, you mentioned in the intro you were there with Kim, your partner, watching it. She's a Palace fan. But
And Bern.
like, in terms of the performance, what
Bernie
did you
came
think?
down.
Yeah, Alex came down. Yeah, but in terms of the performance, shout out to Alex. But in terms of the performance, what were your thoughts in general about it? You know, do you want to go into it a bit, or do you want to ask me questions?
I'll ask you questions because I was just getting blind drunk and enjoying the game. What did you think about the game, Chris? What's your share?
Well,
Share with
hang
us
on, you
your,
don't need to say
wise
it all
words.
smug. You don't
No,
need to
no,
say it
come
all
on, come on.
smug. Just ask
I
me. If you
mean-
want to ask me questions, come on.
Let's just
Do you
talk more
wanna say
specifically.
something?
Go on. What was your feeling? Were you confident? Were you comfortable with the fact once we went 1-0 up that we were going to hang on to it? Did you feel sorry for Dean Henderson as an ex-Forest player? Were you impressed that Sells has now done 2 killer games in a row? Go on, answer those 3 questions.
First question, I didn't feel crazy comfortable. I think Nketiah hit the bar or post or a combination between the two. I the upright in the first half, and Palace had a couple of early breakaway chances, one from Yates in the middle of the park losing out in the ball, and there was just a couple of chances Palace had that worried me. What worried me the most, I suppose, first half, I'm not worried, I was very happy. I felt like we were reasonably comfortable, but as a Forest fan you can never be reasonably comfortable. We missed quite a lot of chances first half, so Wood had like 3 pretty good chances. Obviously he was on the stretch for one, he headed one over from a great ball in from Anderson, and Yates hit the post and he just about missed it. So usually what you think of is you don't think about logic, oh this will happen again, we'll get more chances second half. You go into half time and you go, well that's our lot, that's our chances done, and that's kind of how that's it, we had our chances, will we take them second half? But then you can sometimes count on an outside the box shot and a keeper not doing terribly because there's a good spin on the ball, but making a mistake or letting the ball go under his arm. I felt like he was a little unlucky. I did feel sorry for him, to answer your second question, all in the one answer.
Good segue. Good segue.
I did feel sorry for him, but I felt like, those kind of goals work out for players who are confidence players like Chris Wood is, and who just decide, you know what, I'm going to have a crack here. You know what, I'm going to hit it first time. I was chatting to a Spurs fan the other day about Brennan Johnson's form recently, and he said the thing about Johnson is he's just taking the ball and hitting it first time. Alanga probably needs to do a bit more of that, like just first touch, bang, go. I know he was getting squeezed out in the game quite a bit, but I feel like that's what Chris Wood is doing. He's just taking his chances. He's just instinctively playing football, and when you do that, you get the rewards, and we got that.
He's playing without pressure now. That's the thing. He's he's in a great vein of form.
But he's also latter stages of his career. He's scored loads of Premier League goals before. He's been here before. This is sort of the swan song.
Chris, you're going to kill me.
What?
Keep talking. I think my pizza's arrived way earlier than I thought. Keep talking.
No more food.
Hello?
No more eating. Oh, I don't believe it. You can edit this. We've got a guest coming on in 10 minutes.
Oh, you got the pizza? Oh, cool. I'm coming now. You're at the door? Sorry, coming now.
I think it's illegal to record people without telling them you're recording, by the way.
Yeah, well, I'm going to... you keep talking. I'm going to nip and get the pizza. I won't eat it. Don't worry.
Great. So I'm going to keep talking. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'll just act like this is a one-on-one, folks, because that's what it usually is without him. He's eating once again, as per usual. It's just so annoying. It's so annoying. Right. So, yeah, to answer his third question, which I can't remember and tried to ask if he knew what it was. Ultimately, I think it all comes down to our defence this season has been so solid. So we are conceding way less big chances against teams like Crystal Palace at home, or even Fulham at home. Fulham had to get a penalty to score against us, which was pretty soft penalty at the time. We are just conceding way less chances. And it comes down to Milenkovic and the combination between Milenkovic and Murillo and that back four. So for me, being 1-0 up from here on out is actually quite more of a comfortable position than it's ever been because of our defence. Second best defence in the league in terms of goals conceded, and all the stats back up how much we've improved. And from set pieces, haven't conceded a goal. We nearly conceded a goal day one against Bournemouth. Me and Matt were at that game, but haven't conceded a goal from a set piece so far this season. So, that for me, was it comfortable? In hindsight, yes, but during the game, it kind of never is. Matt's back. Yeah. Right, I did something there.
I've been back a while, mate.
Keep it in. But sorry, folks, if you missed Matt, but you probably didn't. Let's talk a little bit about, we thought the threats were coming from Eze and Mateta, right? Mateta didn't even start. And Nketiah, he hasn't scored a goal for Palace yet.
Yeah, I'm the cynic of it. We were all saying in the pub, it's like, he's going to score. This is going to be his day. And I think a lot of people in the build-up were saying the same thing. And he took that brilliant shot that flew past the sort of top corner in the Trent end, and then. But yeah. And then, but then it was that a save that Sales did against Eze could easily have flown in.
I think you were thinking that I was thinking of the Eze shot. No, I wasn't. And Nketiah actually hit the bar with that whizzing shot in the first half. It actually ended up clipping the post or clipping the bar and went off. Eze's did hit the bar as well. But yeah, right. Look, I think the thing we have to focus on with this game is we're missing. I'll say it again and again, but we're missing Sangare and Danilo. Right, that has had an effect in the past, and we've marched on from that. But we're missing Morgan Gibbs-White, our best player, who we couldn't really do without his creativity against Fulham. it seemed. James Ward-Prowse was the starting 8 for us the week before this against Chelsea. He's been missing. Our coach isn't on the touchline. Our owner isn't there. Quite a monumental figure. Whether that affects the pitch or not, whatever. I'm just saying, in general, we have a lot of these bands come out. We get all these distractions, and we come out on top. I remember we actually played Palace at home after we got the points deduction last year. There was an international break or something, and we got the deduction, and then we played Palace at home. We had a good performance and then beat Fulham on the Wednesday. It was, again, we had loads of stuff aimed at us and thrown at us last week, and then all of a sudden we play Palace and we take our chance, beat them 1-0. I'm just really excited to get that first home win, and more importantly, Matt, I'm just really excited to see that we can, like, you know, you said before the game, you said, we have to win, otherwise it's going to be that thing of we dwell on that Liverpool game that we won, and it's...
I also said Glasner's going to be screwed if they don't win, and he's been in the media quite a lot.
I mean, he hasn't won a game. They played 8 games. Of course he is. Gary O'Neill's going to be up against the same pressure. Even
You're
though
like, well done, Mystic Meg.
Yeah, it's like it's fairly obvious. But what's your impression of, like, just coming out of that 1-0 win? It takes us into Friday.
You're just such. Yeah, I'm saying this in the past 3 episodes. You keep going at me like with monologues.
I'm just trying to get you to talk. You haven't said a word.
What are you on about? I'm desperate to come back and say.
You say anything about the game, anything about Crystal Palace, and I know we're talking about Leicester with Chris Greenhill in about 5 minutes, but anything about Crystal Palace, anything. Say anything.
Listen, I'm not going to be cutting this. You can listen to this back. You literally just. I'm going to say it. You were just talking about all those things that were going against us. The only difference was Dominguez. Like, they're professional footballers. Yates starts loads. Anderson starts loads.
Sorry, hold the phone. Hold the phone, Matt. Don't withdraw. We still won the game, right? But don't take away the fact that we had a little bit of a disadvantage on Monday. Don't take that away, because that still counts for something.
Disadvantage.
Don't take that away.
You can come up with all these disadvantages you like. They're professional footballers, and we needed to be able to. We've wanted to win a game like that for ages. I'm not trying to, like, piss on any bonfires, but I wouldn't get carried away. Like, we won the game, and it's excellent. But I expect us to win that game without Morgan Gibbs-White. I expect Marinakis to spit out the phlegm when he needs to in his own stadium as well, without getting torn to shreds for it. So
yeah, really, really, really slick segue there, Matt. Do you want to talk about this bit or not?
I don't mind.
Well, okay.
Do you want to talk about the spit?
Well, I thought. Do you know what I thought might be a fun? What might be a fun exercise? What might be a fun exercise is you're Marinakis coming down the tunnel, and I'm a member of the FA.
No, I'm a member of the FA. You're Marinakis.
Okay, and we're in the tunnel. Ready? You're not the referee. You're just a member of the FA.
Okay.
Right. I'm not doing an accent.
No. And don't actually spit, please. Please don't actually spit. I don't want you to ruin your microphone.
I wasn't going to spit.
So, excuse me, mate. Don't spit. Don't spit while people walk. Don't spit.
I wasn't. I wasn't spitting. I was actually just. I had a.
No, I just saw you spitting.
We
don't do that in this country, in this sport, when we're in charge, because we don't like it. So we don't like you and your club. So this is a great opportunity for us to screw you over a little bit more. I can see you've got cameras. We'll be getting that for an investigation. You spitting owner.
Sorry, can you just control yourself for a second? Just take a moment and take a step back. Number one, I didn't spit. A little bit of spittle came out of my mouth, potentially, because I was smoking a cigar. Number two, I was trying to talk, and you weren't letting me speak. You just went off.
No.
Much like the VAR incident that happened during this Fulham game.
Listen, I'm the FA. You're this guy that moans at everything, and you can't control your temper, and you just do whatever you want in your own stadium. So we're going to take you to the cleaners for this. You're disgraceful. Right.
Well, good luck. Because it didn't happen, and as far as I'm concerned, I don't know what you're talking about. It's ridiculous.
It did happen. We've got it on camera. We're going to ban you.
Matt, out of the improv. Yeah. This isn't good.
Yeah.
You're just you committed to the wrong thing. You're committing to what your thoughts are of it. You're not actually acting it properly. So
I'll be Marinakis,
and I'll be the FA. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm coming down the tunnel now.
Yeah. Excuse me. What are you doing here?
Sorry, I've just come off the pitch. I know you're.
Get out of my stadium, or get out my tunnel. Get
No,
out my tunnel. Okay, I'll call the police. You're trespassing.
You can't
have no
call the
permission
police
to be
to
here.
tell me to get out. That's insane.
I can.
I'm just literally. I have to make my notes after the game. I'm going into the room here with the referees, having conversation with some people.
Go
I'm
for it.
A member of the FA. Okay. Good.
Bye.
Whoa.
Bye.
Whoa. What was that?
Yeah. What was
that? What was that?
what?
I just saw something.
What did you see?
Well, I think I saw you something leave your mouth and land on the floor near me. And then you did this frown sort of thing, as if you were gesturing towards me.
Okay.
You just did it again. That's twice. I've seen it twice now.
Yeah.
No,
So-
but like, are you doing it as a...
I thought you had to go and join the referees. I'm on my way to. I'm warming up for my spitting competition we do in the centre circle after everyone's left every night. So if you don't mind, hurry up, mate.
You can't do the improv. It's a waste of time. You're just too in
What?
one mind about what you think happened, or what you... Matt, just get out of it. It's a waste of time.
I'm not. I'm going
anyway,
to my spitting competition, and I'm
you're
trying to
not
warm
going
up,
to
and you're
any
getting in my
spitting
way.
competition. Did you
How
spit
do you
or
know we
did
don't
you
do
not
a
spit?
spitting competition in the centre circle after every evening match on a Monday?
You're...
I'm nothing.
I'm going to be talking to everyone about this. I am the FA, but I'll be talking to the FA, and I'm done with you.
Yeah.
Can I
well,
just see
everyone
CCTV
you know what? You know what? Pretty much everyone in the country is done with you lot. Organisation.
Hey, stop, Matt. Don't talk about Matt. Stop.
You're
Cut
so
that out.
scared.
No,
You're so scared.
No, because you can actually get sued. You can get sued for that. I knew you'd say that. You can get sued for it. I don't want to get sued. I'm the one that'll have to deal with your nonsense, with you going on and on and on down a bloody rabbit hole. And I'm over it. I'm bloody over it. Where are we at in this? Well, Chris is obviously going to be late now coming in, right? I just wanted to round off the Palace stuff so we can actually have a conversation about football. I know that that's not what you want to talk about on a football podcast about Forest, but like really quickly, let's just pick out our star performers who we were really happy with, and then we can go on to Greenhill. Okay, Anderson, you mentioned him a million times. He was amazing. The skill he did twice in almost the same phase, or it was a second phase afterwards, was pretty unbelievable. And I remember you looking at me going, wow, or messaging me going, this is unbelievable, right?
I can't remember. I just remember watching him do this thing where he sort of ran it in the
much.
front right, when he was on the right wing going towards the Bridgeford end. I was had about 7 pints at this point on a Monday night. Me and Byrne and people were watching Anderson running around with the ball, and he was like a FIFA player. I was like,
I know.
It made
That's
us
exactly
giggle.
it.
I said that. I was like, oh my God, look, I feel like I'm playing FIFA, and he's just running around our players and their players, not passing it to anyone and not getting tackled by anyone. He just sort of took it right across the box. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the important thing is he filled in for Morgan Gibbs-White as the 10 for the first time, and he didn't look out of place. And, of course, as Statsman Will said in the last podcast, that could be succession planning for one day if we have to sell Morgan Gibbs-White. So it looks good, and he's so versatile, and he looked great. Dominguez, massive shout out to Dominguez.
It could be him that's the one that we have to sell.
No.
It's early days.
Hopefully we don't sell both, right? But just
yeah,
really
but I'm just
quickly,
saying. Early days could be him.
Really quickly on Dominguez. Dominguez came in after being, Danilo got in ahead of him day one. Then James Ward-Prowse came in ahead of him in that 8 position. And then Dominguez could have probably played versatility positions in the 6 or, I don't know, maybe a little higher up if you're playing a lockdown 4-3-3. I know he started against Liverpool. But to come in under that pressure, missing all those players, and to play as well as he did, and he was on a yellow card towards the back end of the game. Speak to that. I was just really excited to see how well he did. He was so tidy on the ball. He battled well. He deserves a massive shout out as well, because the midfield was what I was worried about, and the midfield did brilliant. Anderson and Dominguez particularly, Matt.
Yeah, really, really interesting player, Dominguez, and the role he's played since we signed him. Did we get in the year we got promoted, or is this his second season with us? Oh no, he was the replacement for Freuler, wasn't he? Ish.
Sorry, just messaging the Leicester fan. He was.
Yeah.
He was. Well, it was a direct switch.
He was. He was. This
Freuler
is
went
his
to
second
Bologna.
season with us. This is his second season with us.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Don't worry about Freuler. No, I was just trying to. I was trying to remember at what point, what his lifespan is with Forest, because he's really. I'm a big fan of Dominguez. He occasionally has games where you sort of go, yeah. I mean, he's been played out of position a couple of times and not done too great, and then we've sort of forgiven him because he's been on the wing or something. I'm trying to recall exactly the moments. But I don't know. He's a monster, and he covers the pitch. And I just I love the guy. I really hope he features heavily. I think I prefer him on the pitch to James Ward-Prowse. I think. Just it's too early to say.
I don't know yet. Ward-Prowse does a lot on the ball that just casual stuff that we don't notice is really good. But look, time will tell. This
I think it's because James Ward-Prowse is on loan, so I still have that sort of undercurrent of
Is he our player? Yeah, kind of thing.
Is he our player or not? It's weird to think, but I don't want to slag him. He's class. I'd rather have Ward-Prowse than not. It's just we've got so many midfielders that we like, and as soon as Sangari's fit, he's going back in, and it's going to throw this new apple cart up in the air, isn't it? Throw this new apple cart up in the air. Has anyone ever said that before?
Right. Well, look, we're gonna bring in the Leicester fan. We've been talking for too long. Yeah. We're gonna bring in the Leicester fan, right?
Get him in.
We're bringing him in, Chris. This is Chris, another Chris. We call him Greenhill. That's his last name. The reason he's coming on is because I used to work with him a long time ago, and he's a Leicester fan, and he's sound. So here is Chris Greenhill.
Fill the screen. Give him a full screen. So we've got.
I will. I'll give him the full screen. Here it is. Hello, Chris. Say hello to everyone.
I'm Chris 1. You're Chris 2. That's how we've always been, right?
No. I'm more Chris 1. I was the first Chris in our. Yeah. Okay. Well, look, Chris and I used to work together a long time ago. Unfortunately, that coincided with the season that Leicester won the league. Which was very, very difficult. Another time I was with Chris was happier times for me when they played Watford in the playoffs and he brought me to a Leicester pub for the first leg, and then the second leg we obviously saw what happened with Troy Deeney's goal. But ultimately, I've had to bear the cross of Chris 2, you're Chris 2, doing the whole Leicester thing over the last course of the years. The greatest sporting achievement, which is true, it is a great sporting achievement. So this is Chris.
Say that again. I didn't hear you. Just say that bit again.
the greatest sporting achievement. I can't believe you're loving this, Matt. You're a Forest fan, Matt. But the greatest sporting achievement ever, or one of them. But anyway, look. What I want to sort of, dissect today is I want to talk a little bit about how Forest are in 8th and you guys are the lower end of the table. But Steve Cooper's been doing a brilliant job for you so far. And has the doubt sort of lifted on Steve Cooper for you at all? Because we're playing you Friday. Are you a bit worried?
Oh, absolutely not. No. Where shall I start?
Well, with who?
Can I just preface this and let Chris Leicester know that Chris Forest is Steve Cooper's biggest fan in the world?
Well, Matt, honestly, I've never had so many messages in my life from this boy. He goes missing now and again for 6 months, but all I've got is Steve Cooper love, like all over my phone from him for the last however long he's been here. Shall we start?
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Let's just go back to you being 8th and as being 13th after only about 8 games. Yeah, well done. How many goals have you scored so far?
Well, we've conceded less than you, and that's why we're in 8th at the moment. So
their keeper's better than ours.
I tell you. I'm very worried about Woody, actually, Chris Wood, against us on Friday. Always
ex-Leicester
against us. He came to us in 2013-15, about 21-22, and you could see it. He was such a good player. I don't know why we didn't keep him, what happened, but he got like 12 goals in 50 games or something as 21, coming over. I've always loved him. He's not in my dream team because he plays for Forest. Everyone else has got him. But yeah, I'm very worried about him on Friday. Very.
So, okay.
He's scored again. I feel like he was one of the players, Chris, that before he came to us, a bit like and I'm talking about championship days, but you remember that Millwall player called Matt Smith? And I feel like Chris Wood always scored against us. And I think it was for Leicester back in those days, right?
Right. Yeah, well, he always seems to score against us as well when he went Burnley and wherever. So we won't keep a clean sheet anyway on Friday, and he will probably get it. So you'll score 1 on Friday, I'm sure.
Well, let's just talk about Friday a little bit. Obviously, you guys are coming off the back of 2 wins, 2 really good wins. One was 2-0 down to Southampton, and they absolutely bottled it in the end. So that must have been a good victory for you guys. You were happy with that, right?
Away Southampton, I'd have hoped that, yeah. Hang on.
This is your problem. It's your expectation,
talk about the manager before you talk about 2 wins, right?
Okay, fine. This is your problem. Expectation. You need to bring it back. Cooper's there to do a job.
He was, though, the only man for the job when we looked as if we were going to points deduction, bottom of the league. Was he a fighter? Can he motivate players? Who knows? No, he just couldn't get another job, and he was the only person that would take the job when we look like minus 12 points.
You're going to get battered in the comment section by Forest fans.
Yes, I'll tell you my problems, and then you can unmute it, right? As Matt said, I think you got to be careful what you wish for, right? And we are on the back of 2 wins, and I must say, a couple of games ago, I was going, get rid of him. Even on Saturday, I was in the theatre. Actually, I didn't go to the game, and I turned on my phone at half-time. We were 2-0 down. So I said to my dad, sack him now. Just get rid of him in the dressing room now in front of all the players. Get rid of him. Southampton away. And then I got a text when I got out of the theatre, and my dad said, it's all about 98 minutes, not 45 minutes. I was like, okay, fair enough. But look, there's a few things I've been worried about him, right? And it's his decision making. I've heard a few things about him not being able to deliver his message to the players, not talk to the players very well. Yeah, on the other hand, he's quite motivating. I think he came in because he was the right man for the job. Get the crowd on side. Has he done that? Absolutely not. What's the last 2 wins? I'm only talking from a personal point of view. What's the last 2 wins done for him? I don't know. Let's see if we go down early, on Friday. But here's a few issues with it. Oh, by the way, before the issues, his stats were, what was it? In the last 21 games, he'd won, I can't remember what it was. In the last 21, anyway, his record's ridiculous. It's like won 2 games or something in the last 21 games before he came to us. Also, Joe's only ever won 3 away games in the Premier League. His average substitutions at the moment are at 80 minutes. Okay, now this is when we were up against Forest 2-1. Great example. 2-1 up, all over them, away from home. Right, go and get the other. Keep pressing forward, all over them. He brings on Connor Cody, that's not played any minutes this year, gives away a penalty. Right, Fatawu, not starting him. I tell you what, you're in trouble if he plays on Friday. That Fatawu, you see him against Southampton.
I'm nervous about him.
But he won't play 2 out-and-out wingers at the same time. And our biggest thing for us, our best player is a guy called Ricardo. And he seems to be playing players that are athletic and have pace rather than technical, But it's actually been, out of everything, right? One of the last 2, it's his decision-making. We've been waiting. It's 80 minutes, 85. We were 1-0 down to someone, and he made a substitution in the 89th minute. It's baffling. So if you're sitting there in a home crowd and you're 1-0 down, do something about it. You got Fatu on the bench, Ricardo. So we have been concerned by his decision making, shall we say?
Chris,
it's really interesting to hear.
Matt,
it's very interesting to hear because Chris, Forest Chris, because Steve Cooper,
Chris won.
Steve Cooper, got. And I like that he gets away with it. I'm not as big as you, Chris. Chris won.
Matt, don't let him convert you. Don't let him convert you. But go on.
No, I'm not converted. I'm not. I do think that he had a lot of lives with Forest fans, a lot of lives, and a lot of, they call it credit in the bank, don't they? And that's because of what happened when he came to us to keep us in the Championship, and we got promoted. It was heroic, and the buzz and the newfound feeling carried us through, and I don't think, because the Leicester and Leicester fans don't have that experience in that, then what, they're a bit like, well, come on then, this is the starting point. And I always maintained, I think he's better off going, I reckon he'll end up at Wrexham when they get into the Championship, and he'll bring them up. He's better, he needs to help an underdog. Leicester had Maresca and they were on a high. And Cooper's better at taking people that are down and out and bleeding life into them. Do you know? Does that make sense, Chris, too?
It does, but also I think, look, to be
called
fair,
him Chris too.
I put my sensible head on now. Going, all these stats and whatever. I do feel sorry for him in a little way, because I think the gripe is actually with the last couple of years and the owners and this and that. And, I think he's been chucked into an impossible position. As you said, obviously Maresca doing well. We were looking at a 12.9 point deduction. he's really been chucked into the fire here. Didn't spend a lot of money, so I do feel sorry for him.
Would you have taken Nuno over Cooper?
Huh?
Would you have taken Nuno over Cooper?
Probably at the time.
Wow. Wow.
Can I just? Sorry.
I don't know. Look, I do feel sorry for him.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Sorry, Chris. I can do this because obviously we're friends and stuff, and we know each other, right? But I'm gonna have to stop
That's
both of you for a second.
Quite a word, friends. But yeah, go on.
We are friends.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's just wind the clock back a little bit because there's been a lot that's just been said, right? I'm gonna unpack a little bit of it, right? And I'll even bleed into some of Matt's sort of convert stuff that he's going on about there, right? Steve Cooper didn't just, Matt, we'll start with you, Matt, right? Steve Cooper didn't just get us up in the championship from the championship after being in an impossible position and get us promoted. That wasn't the only thing he did. He kept us up a year later when we had an influx of 30 players on the second last day against an Arsenal side that were competing for the league. So let's just nip those two things in the bud with you, Matt, right? Chris,
you're missing the point, but carry on because I don't want us to go on forever.
Chris too, and I know what you were saying, but it has to be said, right? Chris too.
No, you missed the point completely, but carry on.
Why don't you? I'll let you carry on, so I will carry on, right? Chris, Greenhill. My point, I suppose, to you would be, I understand why Leicester fans would be a little bit impatient. I understand why watching his style of football, they might go, what is going on? But as you just touched on there at the back end, you felt a little sorry for him. Comes into a position where Maresca's moved straight on to Chelsea, and you potentially had a points deduction coming, and obviously that's been appealed, and I think you've won the appeal now. So, you were in a really bad position, and Steve Cooper is your perfect underdog manager to be in that position. At his very worst with Forest, he left us 5 points clear of the drop zone. So that was at his very worst, right? With you guys, he will keep you up, and that's the MO this year for you. Surely that's the MO. You lost Dewsbury Hall. You weren't coming into the season looking very strong. You just were the best team in the championship. So for me, I just think he's the perfect manager to do that for you. And I believe that your fans should just, really get behind him and respect that this is the now for Leicester. It's not the Premier League winning Leicester of 2015-16. It's not the European Leicester under Rodgers. It's a new Leicester that have gone through a tough time. And the best man in a tough time, always, 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 is Steve Cooper. Forest are progressing under Nuno. It's a different level now. But Cooper's great for that kind of job. You should be proud and happy of it.
Let's come back to the Nuno thing and progressing later. I'd really like to... I've seen some comments if you're having the best season. Yeah, I don't think the teams, apart from the Liverpool, I don't think the teams you've played against have been fantastic, but we'll come back to that.
Liverpool away, Chelsea away, Brighton away. Okay.
What you won all 3 games?
No, we didn't lose any of them. We played them away.
Right,
Brighton just beat Spurs and Man United at home.
I think if we'd have done this 2 weeks ago and we hadn't have had these 2 wins against 2 terrible teams, I think you'd be agreeing with me. I'm only talking from what I've seen, the football we played, the decisions that he's made. As I said to you, when he was at Forest, I liked him, the underdog, keeping you up, all the, the transition of all those signings, what he had to deal with. You know what I'm like? I'm a fan of every club, Chris, in football. I was like, this is a great guy. And actually, when we were talking about it in the summer, it was him or Potter. Cooper's one I wanted, to be fair.
Ahead of Potter. I am surprised by that.
Well,
I am surprised.
No, listen, when you look at everything, what did Potter actually do? How good was he?
I agree.
Chelsea was far too big for him at the time. And thank goodness he's not gone to England, but because he's very much an FA man. But I just think that when we've been sitting in that stadium, and, by the way, here's another one for you. I don't know how much you've seen of it. James Justin came out after drawing 1-1 at Everton, at Leicester against Everton, going, yeah, we just weren't ready for it. We weren't up for it. If that man can't get our team up for it at home against Everton, we've got problems, right? And there was very early talk of him losing the dressing room already. That's very concerning.
It is, but you're out of the relegation zone right now, and I wonder if you get a result against us.
I don't want to interrupt you because I know what it's like being interrupted by you, Chris. The fact is, sorry, I'll leave you alone for a bit. The fact is that the reason we're okay at the moment, we've got a couple of results recently, is there are a lot worse teams than us currently, right? And the only reason we will stay up, and I said this from the start, is that there are 3 worse teams than us.
Right, I'd still think that'd be a positive for you. But look, before we don't want to digress too much, I want you to talk a little bit about Friday and your sort of prediction for the game. And then I want to touch on a nice part of our relationship and talk about something, a bit of nostalgia after that. But Friday, how are you feeling about the game in terms of what Forest are doing this season, albeit just keeping teams out and getting 1-goal wins? How are you feeling about the game, and are you a little bit concerned? You mentioned Chris Wood earlier.
Yeah, no concern about Wood. Like I said at the start, we've scored in every game this season. I think it's only us and one of the team, which is, I think we'll get a goal. We're at home. Listen, we'll be up for it. Forest at home on a Friday helps under the lights, right? I think it's going to be a great atmosphere. Can't wait to get up there. I think it'll be a score draw. That's what I think. I think it'll be tight. I don't, believe it or not, think you've been fantastic this season. I watched you the other night against Palace, and they had a couple of chances, obviously.
Got the job done, though.
Blow me away.
Got the job done.
Got the job done.
No, I
don't think it'll be draw. I think we'll beat you quite.
I know, I'm joking. Relax. Go on.
3-1.
3-1 who?
Us.
It's so funny because later on you'll hear that my prediction might be the other way. Okay, that's absolutely hilarious. You think you're going to tear apart our defence that has conceded the second least goals in the entire league? Okay.
At home Friday night, absolutely. I think Wood will score. Just actually, your 8 goals you've scored so far. How many has Wood got of the 8?
5.
5. Yeah, see, you're an injury away from being in big trouble, aren't you?
Whoa. Don't wish us a problem already. Let's just... Matt, don't
wish an injury on anyone. I say if you can't spread those goals around, you're in big trouble.
It's definitely...
We've
definitely time. I mean, have you heard of Jota Silva, Leicester, Chris? I suppose I don't need to say that because the listeners know that Chris. He's one
of our squad bench players who's been doing very well off the bench.
So I think he's going to start on Friday.
Just before you talk about him, this question to both of you. Sorry to go back on the Cooper thing. Obviously, the England under 16s, 15s, whatever it was. I think Swansea.
17s.
He was known
17s.
as bringing through
17s.
young 17s, young players, right? When he was at Forest, you had all those squad, that massive squad, all the signings. Did he ever dip into the academy or do anything well with the young lads? Because what's been apparent to us, he's completely ignored a couple of our young lads that are unbelievable. And
oh wow.
Well, hang on. I'll answer that. You're gonna get. I hope you don't get hit as hard in the comments as I think you will, because I to be fair, this is just a bit of back and forth. But let's just.
We don't really have anyone commenting on our podcast. I wouldn't worry about it.
All right, Matt. Anyway, the point is, yeah, he did actually, and he brought them through the.
Brennan Johnson,
who went for 50 million, was a Cooper player. He came through
the
academy.
That was in the Championship.
In the Premier League, he didn't. Point.
Yeah.
He came through the academy and he played his best football under Cooper. Then had another really good season in the Premier League for a struggling side at the time, and then made a big move to Spurs. There's one massive example, and Ryan Yates and Joe Worrell will both say that they improved under Steve Cooper as well. So our spine, Worrell, Yates, Johnson, was academy under Steve Cooper. So put that in your Leicester pipe. Take it to the dance on Friday with us. And we'll beat you.
Chris too. It was a question to you, right? There was nothing, it was a question, asking for your opinion.
I know the way you ask questions. We're mates. I know the way you ask questions.
No, it's really interesting that we've got a couple of young lads, Will Alves and people like that, who we think are going to be the next big thing. They're getting no minutes. They're not even getting on the bench, and it's quite.
Maybe they're not ready. Maybe they're not ready.
Not
ready.
Not ready.
Not our problem. That our academy is amazing.
Not ready.
Yours isn't quite as good. But no, Chris. Let's talk about something really nice, really quickly. Okay, back in 2015, when I was working, I was basically interning with this film company you were in, and I was working with you, Chris. I'll never forget. They just survived relegation.
I don't know what's coming here. This is worrying.
No, it's good. And I'll never forget. It was about October, November, just like we're getting carried away in October, November now. And you said, "I think we'll go and win the league." And you deadpan, "I think we'll win the league." And I was like, "What is he talking about?" And then I left the company halfway through that season, and I'll never forget just thinking every week, "Please tell me he's not right. please tell me he's not right. And every week it got closer and closer and closer. And then you did it. And I have to congratulate Leicester for that. I want to ask you a little bit about genuinely what it was like, because Samuel, your son, was born at the time. Hopefully it's okay to mention. He was a baby and just becoming a Leicester.
He's coming with me to the game on Friday. Me and him season ticket. So, yep.
Legend. Can you just talk a little bit about what it was like at that time, winning the Premier League, being amongst it, and your newborn as well, being a new Leicester fan, and just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, because I think, as you know, and I won't talk too much Leicester on your pod, but
no, it's why you're here. You're the most interesting bit of our pod.
I was born into football, Matt, into Leicester actually, because my uncle was chairman for years and years. So I was, Leicester's pretty special to me. And previous to myself and Chris working in film, I was in football in the industry for 8 years, and I decided to take a step out of that to concentrate on having a baby boy and enjoying football again and Leicester. So literally in the first year of coming back to being a fan, because it's like anything, the closer you get to something, the more out of love you feel for it, right? So I was struggling with football a little bit, and got the season ticket, went to all the games. You're looking Mahrez, Varane, Kante. You can't believe what I saw, really, as everyone else did around the world. And it went on from there to Everton at home lifting the trophy, and every time now I see the opera singer singing or I hear it, like I cry now, even if I'm driving in the car or something like. And then I went to every game, home and away in the Champions League. I used to live in Madrid, so I was in Madrid watching Leicester. I can't explain it. But I knew we were going to win it. Knew it.
He said it early. That was the crazy thing. And he was deadpan. He was like, we can do this. And all the other teams just drifted off. And Leicester just kept going. Wes Morgan as well, ex-Forest. But yeah, look, I just want to give you that nice moment before I remind you of Troy Deeney again. No, I'm joking. But look.
We're Watford now, right?
We're Watford now, yeah.
Well, what went on to happen that sort of, what do you call it? It trumps the Troy Deeney.
Yeah, it does. Without the Troy Deeney moment, you don't get the win of the Premier League. History probably changes.
Listen, what a lot of people forget as well was the year before that, with about 11 games to go, we were dead and buried. Talking about relegation, maybe you boys this year, we were dead and we were dead and buried with 11 games to go. And Cambiasso took it amongst himself to go and rescue the club. And I don't know was it 7 in 11 games we won, something like that. And then we just carried on from there. But I met some unnamed members of the board, shall we say, the year before, away at Arsenal. And it must have been around maybe March time. I said, how you feeling? I knew them because my uncle goes, we just want it over now. We just can't wait to go down, rebuild. That's where we were a year ago, thinking about rebuilding. And then just because of the odd Cambiasso goal, the players doing what they did, we're then winning the league the next year. It's mad.
It is mad.
Yeah.
And
can I just jump in, because I know probably push for time a bit, Chris. Forest. But do you know the rivalry? A lot of Forest fans that I've noticed over the past, ever since we beat you 4-1 in the FA Cup when we were in the Championship still, since then I can remember Forest fans dismissing Leicester as this fake rivalry and that only Leicester fans care about it. And I dispute it massively, because my memory until that game, about, I don't know how many years ago it was Steve Cooper against Brendan Rodgers, I think, and we were champions.
The downfall.
And the beginning of our uptick. But like, in my memory, they were, all right, we've got the Derby. Forest is its own thing. But I remember Forest Chris, being at Forest games with you while we were younger. And Leicester was a massive deal. It was a massive... they usually beat us. And I feel like there was a 5-1 at the City Ground.
No.
But my point is, aren't we big rivals? And what do you think? And you don't have to agree with me, Leicester, Chris.
Yeah, no, of course. Absolutely. Look, I think big rivals. I know you have the Forest Derby thing. See, I'm very different to everybody else. I'd love, and I've always wanted the Midlands teams to be in the Premier League, dominating, play each other, 4-5ers, whatever. So, Forest, me and Chris have spoken this about it many times. We talk about it, but I didn't want Forest to go down. I didn't want Leicester to go down, you know, and we do text each other, genuinely mean that, which is a bit unusual because, a lot of my mates are like Forest, can't wait to play them and beat them, can't stand them.
I don't mind Leicester.
Rivalry,
I don't mind Leicester.
No, there's always been a rivalry there. And I remember the away games, walking down there sometimes, it was a bit unnerving when I was younger, you know. There was some hell of an atmosphere. So, no, that rivalry is not dead in any way. I don't think
it's not, is it? And I wonder,
well, we'll see that Friday, right?
I do think, like you said, man, that's a good point. Like, it is like an ex, like you're you know, but he still does love the Forest fans very much, and I think what could happen is if
he
Forest
can't show
do
that,
go in there,
he can't show that.
But no, he can't show that. Of course, he can't. But if Forest do go in there and trounce yous, I think it'll be the start. I don't think it'll be the end because he's just won 2 games, but I think it'll be the start of the toxicity of Leicester fans coming back on top of him again. And I think if we win in the King Power Stadium with him on the stands, it could turn ugly fast, depending on what games you have after that, of course. But yeah, I'd worry, which is why I'm kind of excited because there's so much tension in the air, you know. But
0-0 then, right?
Yeah, Chris. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's a game of goals. I wish I was watching it with you, actually. I really do wish I was watching it with you. I'll be sending you
some voice notes on Friday night when we go 1-2-3 up anyway. So.
Well, you did that the time you beat us 4-0, and I hated it. He kept going again. It was a nightmare. Matt, do you want any final things to say? Do you want to give a shout out to anyone? Not really.
Me or Matt?
Chris too.
No, I just think that I wish you the best of luck for the rest of the season because I do want us both to be in the Premier League next year, and I don't want your good run to come to an end. But Friday, 3-1.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Thanks for coming on.
Let me leave you with this. Forest away or Leicester at home for you, 10th of May, day before my birthday. If Leicester, we'll all go, right? And if Leicester win on Friday, you boys pay for my day out and night out. And if Forest win this Friday, I'll pay for you too.
Done. And basically, that means is I pay for you because Matt's not going to pay for you. So I pay for you.
I will. No, I'm not. What's the word for someone who's not honest? Like I'm an honest deal.
No, I know you're honest. Yeah.
Let's have a little bit on this Friday. Whoever wins gets taken out, and we'll go to the other game on the 10th of May for my birthday.
Done.
Amazing.
Done. You can pay for it because I'm looking forward.
10th of May was the first ever anniversary I had with a girlfriend when I was 15.
Don't know what that's got to do with anything, but Chris.
But just every time anyone says the 10th of May, it's strange. It resonates.
Okay. Thanks so much, Chris. All the best. Yeah. You're an absolute legend for coming in.
See you, boys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll roll out with a bit of score prediction here on our own. We'll let Chris has done his, so we'll do ours now. What do you think is going to happen this Thursday, like Matt? You tell me what your thoughts are going into this with Steve Cooper back in the
Friday, right?
In front of us. Friday. Friday. Yeah,
right.
Go on. What do you think is going to happen?
I mean, these predictions do my head in because I just don't know. I can imagine so many scenarios playing out, and it's all like do I think we're going to beat Leicester? I actually do. I think Forest are turning a big corner at the minute. I think we're going to beat Leicester.
Finally. You know, I predicted a draw against Chelsea and a win against Palace, and you're sat there constantly saying we're going to lose, and now all of a sudden we're in 8th and we haven't lost one game, and you're like, we might beat one of the lower table teams. Well done.
I think we're going to beat Leicester, and it's going to... I don't know. I'm trying to work out if the game's even going to be controversial or not. Do you know what I mean? Will it be as fun as that Chelsea away day for the viewers, the fans, and also anyone watching the game? It's going to be on telly again, isn't it? I just think we're anticipating drama. Maybe that's what it is, and it might be a bit of a dead rubber, but we scrape a 1-0 or something.
You'd love that, though. A 1-0 win.
Oh, it'd be incredible. For our overall narrative. Another 3 points for Forest. It would be laughable in an amazing way. It's going to be tough. Cooper knows the fan base of Forest. He knows a lot of our players really well. He's psychological, isn't he? He's gonna want to beat us, I think. think it's going to be. It's going to be, as we were saying in the chat, it's going to be saying to Chris Greenhill, it's going to be an interesting, very peculiar dynamic, I imagine, for Forest fans and Steve Cooper, if they're really honest with themselves in the moment. I mean, I imagine they're going to be singing songs.
Yeah.
I think they're going to sing the Stevie Cooper song.
Remember, Leicester fans doubted him until only very recently as well, because he won a couple of games back to back all of a sudden. So I'm going to give my score prediction, and I'm going to do a little segue into something that we have to talk about, or we don't have to if you don't want to. But the Marinakis incident. But really quickly, I think we'll actually beat Leicester this Friday. We've only lost one game all season. I think we'll score 3 goals against them. I do. I think they'll be open. Maybe Cooper will sit back in a bit of a low block initially, but then we'll open them up eventually. I think we'll win 3-1 in Leicester, and we'll sing songs about Cooper and how much we love him while they keep doubting him. And it'll be a really nice, fun, sort of weird, annoying juxtaposition for them, because they're like, we're losing to them and they're singing for our manager. That's what I think is going to happen. And I think the goal scorers are going to be Chris Wood.
We've got to be careful about what that might do to Nuno, but yeah, we don't want to upset Nuno.
It's not going to do anything to Nuno. Nuno doesn't care. He's fine. He knew he was coming into that position. He's a legend. Nuno's rolling with it, man. Nuno's sat there with a cigar on, just chilling out. He's grand. Yeah. Leicester are the ones down in the doldrums.
He shouldn't smoke more than one a day, though, because he might have to like cough up his stuff, and he might get screwed by the FA.
Hey, Matt. Right.
See you soon. See you soon.
Follow us at forestallover on Instagram, or at NFFC all over on X or Twitter. Alternatively, you can go to forestallover.com. You've wasted your time if you got this far.